All right, hello, Melissa May Dillon here, live on my personal page, and then we generally upload it to the YouTube channel. That would be the best place to watch replays, otherwise you gotta scroll. Please drop a comment below if you are tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions about whatever it is I'm talking about. Let me know about any topics you want to talk about. And I'm just super excited to be here with you guys to share my real, raw, authentic self as I'm going through December to Remember. So December to Remember, purposely, initially began as I want to manifest a public display of manifestation of a large sum of money. And so I've talked about making $1 million in 1 month. Now I currently make $100,000 in 1 month, which seems mind-blowing to people. So then when you say a million, it's even more mind-blowing than that. But ultimately, money is just an energetic frequency. And when you align with that frequency, basically what you're emitting, so like you have radio waves, essentially, that come off of your body, waves of feelings. And whatever feeling you're putting out into the world, you receive the same back of the feeling. So when you are feeling like making $1 million a month is normal, simple, easy, whatever, then it can flow into you normal, simply, and easily. So I want to do a public display of manifestation, of showing people how you can manifest anything that you want. And I like to use money because money is how you get everything else that you want. Now, whether I do or don't bring in $1 million this month doesn't matter to me, because I understand that the journey is more important than anything else. And I also want to show that to people as well, because so many people are afraid to say that they want to create, do, or have something with the fear that if they don't get it at the time they think they should get it, then it means that they're a failure. And if they said it out loud publicly to anybody, then that also is sucky, because then what will people think about you? And so I want to dispel any level of caring about what people think about you by doing this publicly in front of people. There is a part of me that, yes, of course I want to bring in the $1 million this month, but there's also a part of me that's like, and if you don't, you get to show people how to handle this. So like, I can't lose either way. And so I'm super excited for that. And I also know that by declaring this and stating this, publicly out loud, that one, I'm enrolling other people in my journey, because other people will be excited for me to be able to see this happen. Because if they're like, well, if she can do it, then I can do it. And so I like to be the evidence for people that if I can show like how to do this, how this works, how this happens, then other people can see how they can do it as well. I want to be able to influence people that they too can take mastery and ownership of their life, mastery and ownership of their emotions and the vibrations that they're emitting, and attract back to them what it is that they want to have. So whether, and the other thing is, whether I do or don't actually receive $1 million this month, it is also sharing with the universe, though, that I want to be receiving $1 million in 1 month, and that I know that when I make that declaration and when I start talking about that and normalizing that, it allows the universe to bring to me whatever it is I need to go through, experience, do, or have, so that I can be able to bring in $1 million in 1 month. So I know that this is putting me on, so I'm basically making a public declaration that I'm ready to make $1 million in 1 month. I would love for it to be this month if that happens, but I'm ready for whatever journey it brings up, whatever happens in this journey of me doing that. Hi, Lena, I'm so excited you're here. Whatever journey that brings me on is going to be perfect and amazing, and it's going to be awesome. And I really love to do this publicly in front of people so that you too can have the evidence and see what it looks like behind the scenes. So just some like updates of what I'm doing, because mostly I've been coming on live and just talking about my reflections and learning through exponential wealth. But I just want to kind of break down for you like what it is I'm doing into, like, because there's being and doing and then having, and usually it's be, do, have. Most people think do, be, have. Like I have to do this, then I can be rich and then I can have the money. But it's actually be the person and then do the thing in the space of being the person. So like I first focus on being a person who has $1 million a month, or who's bringing in $1 million a month. Then I take the inspired action. I don't try to force action. So this is one of the things that people often struggle with, is they think that they have to do something, and you do. This is where it gets a little tricky. you don't mentally have to be the one to like figure out the plan. So like if I would, so what I'm trying to say here is like, let me break this down for you, but I need a sip of cocoa. In the logical world of things, if I said I want to make $1 million this month, I could sit down, formulate a plan, go after that plan, implement things, hire people, do all kinds of stuff. If I'm using the logical part of my brain to make this happen. Now, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but it relies heavily on your brain power and also like logic and logically yes, I do have a business and yes, I have things, but logically it doesn't make sense that I would be able to make $1 million this month. It's possible. Yes, it's always possible, even in the logical world of things. Like when you look at that one woman who like went viral by saying that she's demure or whatever that phrase was, like be demure. I'm probably saying it wrong, but she was a cashier and then she was producing content. She made that video. It went completely viral. And then like not even 6 weeks later, she's flying on a first class jet, wearing her own merchandise and has completely changed her world. Like there is evidence of people just blowing up overnight. And so but like logically, it would technically be logically difficult for me to be able to bring in $1 million within 1 month. Although it is like I could logically make a plan and bring and do those things, but that's a very much like I've got to do it, very willpowery, very like almost forced. Like if I'm to write up a plan and write out a structure and write out goals and go after those things and put my head down and focus on work and complete these tasks and making sure I do these tasks at a certain time in order to make this happen. Like that doesn't feel very good to me. I don't enjoy that. I would rather play in the realm of, like magic and miracles, like any wild, crazy thing can happen. And I am open and ready to receive. And what I like to do is just tell the universe what it is that I want. So I want to make $1 million this month. And I allow the universe to let me know what I should be doing, or what people I should be talking to. Because what happens is when you have the trust and faith that your life is nothing but magic and miracles, as you're going along doing, living your life as you say, so I say to the universe, I want to make $1 million this month. And then I write that and I journal, like you take some action towards it. I also took the action of going live and talking about it. So I am taking action, but I'm not sitting down with my brain going, okay, brain, how do we figure out how we make $1 million this month? Let's come up with a plan and let's work that plan and do nothing but the plan and don't allow anything to deter me. That's the old way of thinking, and that's the old paradigm of how the world has been built. I'm moving into the paradigm of trusting with faith and belief that as I speak what I want, the universe will provide me the how. Because again, logically trying to come up with a how of making $1 million, one, it would be hard. And two, it's relying only on what I know. And what I don't know is bigger than what I do know. So what I don't know is there's so many things I don't know. There's so much more available to me in the unknown than in the known. So if I attempt to make a plan and follow and execute that plan to make $1 million in 1 month, it is reliant only on my limited amount of knowledge. So I have a limited set amount of knowledge available to me about how I can make $1 million. And I could use the internet and I can Google, but still it's going to be based on my limited abilities of what am I Googling? What am I inputting into the machine to ask the question to help me figure this out? So it's very limited. I would prefer to tap into the unknown. I would prefer to rely on the universe to share with me, the insights that I need. So like, this is how it looks like, is I declare I want to make $1 million in a month. And then I begin going about my day as normal, doing the things I normally do. A thought will come in. Hey, you should do this. And be like, okay. And when it feels good, I start doing it. But I didn't generate, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? I just allow an idea to come to me as I'm going about my normal day. So then it gives me an idea. So then I take action on that idea. I share that idea. I write that idea down, or I delegate that idea to my team because I do have a business. It could also look like an email comes into my inbox saying, hey, I see that you have an awesome YouTube channel. I want to be on your YouTube channel. Let's create a plan. And that's happened multiple times within the last few weeks, even into December. So I've set up all those appointments so that I can, go interview with other people on their YouTube channels. They interview me on my YouTube channels, and we, exchange that relationship, those audiences. It can also look like, one of the things that came to me was a way of answering my customers, because we put on the website exactly what people need to know about passing their insurance exam. And if they go to the website and if they read, they find all the information that they're looking for. But people don't want to read. They just want to click a button and then people tell them the information. So one of the things that came into my inbox was, we can create a system for you where it automatically answers your people and it allows them to feel engaged and like you're talking to them. So I'm setting up that system. And so that's something that we're going to be launching soon in the insurance exam queen business. It can look like, when you're open to magic and miracles in the unknown, any possible thing can happen. It could be a DM from somebody. It could be a phone call from somebody. It could be a connection from somebody. So I went to the event in Chicago, the Shemina event, and there was an entire table of insurance agents there. And a few of them, they already knew me and they were excited that I was there and they wanted to take selfies with me so that they could send it back to their team. Like, how crazy is that? I ended up going to an event with all these people. Well, they told me that I needed to meet certain people. I set up phone calls with them. I've had meetings with them. They said that I need to meet other people. Like, I've been slowly being connected into different networks. And so that is also part of the unknown. Again, if I tried to generate a plan of how I'm going to make $1 million that month, all of those things would have not been included because those things are coming from the unknown. When we're able to trust in the unknown more than the known, we open ourselves up to way more possibilities. Again, what knowledge is currently inside your brain is limited. It is limited based on your experiences, what you've done, what you've seen. But there is so much more out in the world that you don't know, that is unseen. And so I want to put my faith and trust in the unseen. And most people are very, very uncomfortable in the unknown and in the unseen, because the unknown also can have dangers. And it can be unpredictable and it can be scary. And people would rather stick to what's comfortable and what they know rather than put the trust and the faith in the unknown. I have had many experiences where I've been able to put my trust in the unknown and just embrace it and see magic come into my life, such as 2-3 years ago, I went into the unknown by I went on a trip to Belize with a woman that I hadn't ever met before other than on the internet. So I was in this Facebook group, Full-Time Purpose, Aaron Dowdy and Victor Odo, and they help people create YouTube channels to become full-time. I'm one of their success stories, right? So I was able to create a YouTube channel as my full-time job. And that's how I make all my income. And my YouTube channel is a 6-figure YouTube channel, let alone I sell things in addition to that. And my business is a multi-million-dollar business, which is fantastic. So anyway, in that group, I met a handful of people. And one of the people that I had met, we connected online. We became friends with each other. And she had posted about traveling alone as a woman. And I said, the next time you're going somewhere, let me know and I'll come with you. So 2 weeks later, she messaged me. She's like, I'm going to go to Belize during, the Christmas season if you want to come with me. So I was like, I had no reason to say no. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. I said I would, and let's do it. So initially when I booked the trip, I was, very excited. But as it was getting closer and closer to the time, I was getting more and more terrified at the idea of flying to another country that I've never been, and experiencing life in the world, basically with a stranger who I had met on the internet and had one video call with, to schedule our trip. So I went into the unknown, and and that whole week of being in Belize, I did anything and everything that we had. She was so brave, and she's like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. It's going to be fun and exciting. And the whole time I'm like, heart beating out of my chest, almost like, oh my God, can my anxiety handle this? It was free. Even just driving in a place that I had never driven before, because it's a whole new city, whole new rules, whole new, different way of driving. And it made me anxious, but I was like, brave new Melissa, brave new Melissa. So that entire time I just full fronted faced my anxiety And I was like, I'm going to do these things. And the whole time I was chanting, brave new Melissa, brave new Melissa, brave new Melissa, brave new Melissa. So I just like took this massive leap into the unknown. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go on this trip. I'm going to do things with a stranger on the internet. And I ended up having the most amazing time. And that was December of 2021. And then January of 2022, so not even a month later, I launched my insurance exam clean business. I took another leap into the unknown. I had only ever relied on a job and a paycheck to support myself. A steady job with a steady paycheck. You know, that's how you take care of yourself. That's how you support yourself. That's how you make sure you're okay. That's how you pay your bills. That's how you eat, is a steady job with a paycheck. And 9 to 5, right? So I took a leap into the unknown and I said, I'm going to start my YouTube channel. I'm going to have my own business. I'm going to figure it out. I did not sit down and create a business plan. I did not say, first I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that, because again, that would have been relying on my limited knowledge of what I knew was available to me, or what I could Google search based on my limited amount of questions I could ask it based on my limited brain. So I jumped fully into the unknown and I was like, I'm just going to figure this out as I go. I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants. I'm just going to jump out and let loose and figure it out. And I jumped into the unknown and I was able to create a 6-figure business in 1 year, a 7-figure business within 2 years, multi 6 figures within the second year. And then we hit $1 million in 2 years and 3 months. And I'm so excited because pretty soon I'm going to be sharing with you that journey in the most beautiful way. More details on that later, but little sneaky things that something super amazing is coming soon. Something that we've been working, talk about something coming soon. Mr. Creepo serial killer over here. He's in his, if you can see his outfit, he definitely looks like a serial killer. And he is a serial killer of deer. He brings home the meats you smell. Oh, he just gutted a deer and it was a gut shot, which is really stinky. Just FYI. He made me hold the light as he's like scooping out all the nasty stuff in the deer. This is my life, y'all, living in the country. So I made $1 million in 2 years and 3 months in my business. And the business itself is valued at multi-millions. If I were to sell the business, because I've been in conversations, just because I'm like, well, yeah, what would somebody pay for my business? What would this look like? And I was approached by them. So I was like, yes, let me engage in these conversations and see what this is all about. So my business is worth multi-millions of dollars. I could sell it today for multis of millions of dollars. And I did this by jumping into the unknown. I did not rely on my knowledge. And in fact, the things when I initially sat down to start my business, it was initially thinking that I was going to be working more with actual insurance companies. So I hope, Gabby, that you're able to comment. Let me actually try to tag you, Gabby, and let me see if this works. So Gabby's been she's been watching my lives and she's been trying to comment every day and she hasn't been able to, even though we're friends. So I'm going to tag you and let me see if it works, but we'll try. So I jumped into the unknown and built my business, and I initially thought I'd be working more with insurance companies. But I haven't yet to work with an insurance company, but that's what I thought I'd end up doing. I kind of assumed that the people who worked with me, because I was working for a company that was hired by insurance companies, so they would hire the company I worked for to send me out to go teach the classes. I thought they would connect with me and ask me to come teach your classes. I thought I would be contacted by call centers who wanted a better structure, a better curriculum. If I had relied on what I knew, I would not have been able to build the business that I ended up building. I went full unknown. I just took this massive leap. I said, all I'm going to focus on is building a YouTube channel and just go from there. And the very first offering I did was $33 an hour tutoring. And I did that for a few weeks until I realized I had to raise my prices. So then I raised it to $55 for an hour tutoring. And then I realized I can only make $55 in 1 hour. This is not going to be a lifetime worth of money here. Like, I need to be able to do more than this. So then I started selling tickets to classes. So instead of with one person in 1 hour, I was with, 20 people in 1 hour. And then I was able to sell the recordings of those classes. So then not only did I make money from teaching it and selling tickets in that 1 hour. I was able to then sell it to other people, and I am still making money on those classes, right? Like I'm still making money on that 1 hour of time that I spent teaching a class. Like that's amazing. Like how many of us can say that we spent 1 hour of time and it continues to make money for us forever and ever and ever? Actors, musicians, but not many other jobs, but authors maybe. To be able to say I spent this amount of time and it continued and it just continues to make money on money, make money. And in fact, I don't have to do, thank you, yes. Thank you, yes, for this beautiful, amazing life. I don't have to do work today. Like I have a team of people who can run the customer service, answer the people, be with the people. I don't have to do live classes. I don't have to do anything extra. We could put the insurance exam queen on autopilot and it will just continue to make money, and there's nothing I have to do to make that money continue to happen. We have enough content that we can just rehash YouTube videos. Like I don't have to lift a finger at this point anymore to make any more money in the insurance exam queen business. You know, if I want to grow it, we can. Like, of course I can do stuff, but I don't have to. And how amazing is that? If I had relied on my limited knowledge, this would not be possible. But again, I decided to jump into the unknown. I decided to trust that there was more available amazingness out there than what I could possibly fathom. And so I relied on that. I just said, I'm just going to go to work. I'm just going to follow the inspiration. I'm going to follow the intuitive hits. I'm going to answer the emails that come to me from the most randomest of places, you know, for building my business. And so again, that is what I'm doing with December to Remember, is I'm jumping into the unknown. I did not sit down and create a plan or figured out exact logical steps of how I want to make $1 million in 1 month from where I'm at now. I am jumping into the unknown, and I just made a public declaration. December to Remember is me saying I want to make $1 million in 1 month. It would be amazing if it was this month that I can make $1 million. But again, I'm not going to be butthurt. I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to cry if I don't make $1 million in this month, because I know, having done what I've done with building my business, I know that the journey is the most amazing part, that what I learn as I go is the most valuable thing to me beyond the money. I know that $1 million months is in my timeline of my life on this planet. I know that is going to happen. I've seen it. I felt it. I know it's going to happen. Same as like the insurance exam queen business. I didn't know exactly how. I didn't know exactly in what way or what format or exactly how it was going to work. But I knew it would be a wildly successful business. I knew it was going to make millions of dollars. I knew these things without understanding how I knew it or the logical steps to it. And so I know $1 million a month is part of my timeline. And so I'm telling the universe I'm ready for it now. Now, what happens when you say that you're ready for something, the universe will say, are you sure? And it will give you lessons or situations or whatever it is that is going to ask you, can you actually hold the capacity of that? Because what does it mean to make $1 million in 1 month? It can mean a lot of things. Have I cleaned up my relationship with money? Most of us hate money. In fact, my cousin who's watching talked about eat the rich the other day, which I totally understand that thought. And I used to vibe with that. But like, do you understand, like when you say eat the rich, like you have a negative vibe about money. And so if you want to have more money in your life, but you're saying eat the rich, you're uninviting money from your life. You're like sending it away from you. And there's also a really amazing, oh my God, I need to go back to her YouTube channel. There was this amazing video I watched about Eat the Rich. And it was a YouTube channel where these women were like dissecting, like they would talk about movie clips and they would talk about books and they would talk about all this amazing stuff and they would put it together. And, they explained this whole eat the rich thing, and it was the most amazing thing, and I need to watch the rest of their channel. I'm so glad I thought about that. I need to watch your channel again because I thought it was freaking amazing what they did. But anyway, what was I talking about before that? What was I talking about, honey? Were you listening?
Watch your cousin and eat the rich.
Before that. Anyway, I know $1 million is in my timeline. Somehow, some way, I know it is. Oh, the universe. Yes. So when you make a declaration of something that you want, so when I say I want $1 million this month, I know that 100,000 to $1 million is a jump. But I no longer put $1 million on a pedestal anymore either. Now that I've made $1 million, I've made a couple of million, and I know my business is worth multi-millions. I've been able to remove $1 million from a pedestal. So many of us put $1 million on a pedestal. Like, that's so crazy. That's so wild. That's so insane. And when you do that, you're just separating yourself from the money. It has to feel normal. It has to feel normal. It has to feel, of course, it has to be like, that's a no-brainer. It has to feel like a duh. So the more that I talk about it, the more I'm doing that. I'm not saying $1 million in 1 month doesn't seem crazy to me. It does. But at the same time, I don't want it to be that crazy. I want it to be, yes, of course. Yes, of course. The only way for me that I have learned to make it a yes, of course, is to talk about it. Is to talk about it and normalize it. Make it normal. Make it simple. Make it easy. Make it a part of my lifestyle. Make it a part of my vocabulary. I'm going to surround myself with the idea of it. I'm just going to, totally normalize it. We are afraid to talk about big things like that because they seem so big. They seem so great. That's so nuts. Like, most people, I mean, there are definitely people in my realm, because I've been in Melanie Ann Layer's world enough, that have made large sums of money very quickly, in small amounts of time. And so it's not that crazy for them. And that's another way that I make it normal. I am telling you, if you want more money in your life, you've got to join Melanie Ann Layer's Alpha Femme group. Is absolutely amazing. And it is the place where I witnessed so many people making so much money. And it normalized it for me. It made it completely normal to me. So I was like, okay, like, the more that I saw other people doing this, the more normal it made it for me. But if we put $1 million on a pedestal, or making any amount of, if we put anything on a pedestal, you're not going to chop it up tonight? You're not going to go Dexter on the turkey?
I'm too tired.
The deer. He thought about having to butcher it tonight, but he's going to go get ice.
I'm too tired.
All right, put it on ice, baby. I thought that was very intense of him to say he was going to do it tonight, but I'm like, whatever. I've seen him do some wild things. So I don't want to put making $1 million on a pedestal. So I'm going to normalize it. I'm going to make it normal. And I decided that in the same way that going on Belize was like brave new Melissa doing brave new things, I'm like, I'm just going to bravely talk about making $1 million in 1 month. And I would love it for it to be this month. And another thing too about that is, every time I've spoken that into existence, it's happened. I've talked about $1,000 days every day. And that was probably the hardest jump for me, because I thought about it. Like, I thought about, that's just 10 people a day. In the insurance exam queen business, to be able to make $1,000 a day, that's helping 10 people a day. In my YouTube channel, there was at least 1,000 new watchers every day. So I was basically asking for 1% of the people watching my channel to come and buy my course. So that was so logically easy, but it still took me a long time to be able to even say $1,000 in 1 day. It took me a few months before I was willing to say it out loud. I had said it a few times to my coach, and we had talked about it, and she was like trying to pump me up, like, yes, that's so simple. Look at all the people on your YouTube channel. You would just need a little bit of them to go to your website and buy it. Like, of course, she was, pumping me up and all available for that reality for me. But it took me a while for it to sink in. And eventually, though, I started declaring $1,000 days every day. And then it started coming in, like, one at a time. And then eventually 2. I think I had only had like 1 or 2 a month initially. And then eventually it became like 5, and then eventually 7 times a month that I had made $1,000 in 1 day. And by the time I think I made it 7 times, I started declaring $2,000 a day. And then it was in no time at all that I was making $2,000. And then I had to start saying $3,000 a day. And now we're at $5,000 a day. And now I'm just like, then I went to 6 figures a month, and then we hit 6 figures a month. And now I'm like, I'm just going to make the leap to $1 million. Like, if I can say it and it happens, if I can say it and I normalize it, if I can say it and be ready for whatever the universe has to offer me to be able to hold the space of making $1 million, then I'm just getting into an alignment with it. That's all. I'm just aligning myself with what that means, getting my vibrations in alignment of $1 million. I'm speaking about it like it should be normal. Because it should, like, in order for it to be normal, it has to be normal, right? So if we put $1 million on a pedestal, we're separating ourselves from it. We're saying we're so far away from that. Now, there is this again, when you tell the universe you want to manifest something or you want to have something, it is going to ask you, are you sure? Are you ready? And it's going to present opportunities for you to test your capacity to be able to hold this big thing. So if I was to make $1 million in a month, this could trigger a lot of potentially negative things in my life. You know, people asking me for money, or people thinking that I'm now this like crazy rich person, or, you know, a big bill might come up in my business that I have to pay, like taxes, you know, related to around the $1 million. Like there's a potentially a negative side of being able to hold $1 million in 1 month. If my emotional capacity cannot handle that stuff, then the universe cannot give me $1 million, because then it would cause me to crumble and fall apart. So the universe gives you little tests along the way to see what your emotional capacity is at. Most of us have a very limited emotional capacity. You know, somebody says, ew, why'd you wear that today? And you're like, oh my God, why did I wear this? This is so dumb and stupid. Instead of being like, because I wanted to wear it. A lot of us, our partner may say something, and then we're in a spiral all day long about what our partner said to us. Something may pop up, like I always talk about this. If you can't hold the emotions of a surprise random $300 car bill, you're not going to be able to hold the emotions of a $3,000 bill, of a $300,000 bill. If you're making millions of dollars, a $300,000 bill is actually normal. So if you can't hold the capacity of being surprised by a $300 car payment, car bill, breakdown, whatever, it's going to be very difficult for you to manage to be able to manifest large sums of money, because you're not emotionally capable of handling it. And the universe needs to know that you're emotionally capable of handling it. So it's actually having done this many rounds, and like understanding that every time I make a declaration of something that I want to manifest, or something that it is I want to have, I know that the universe is going to present me opportunities that is going to ask me, how well have I managed my emotions? Am I emotionally mastered or not? And I will tell you that quite a few things that I don't publicly talk about, because out of respect for the other person, I have been going through a huge emotional gym. I call it the emotional gym. So I've been a person who's been very, very triggering to me, has recently popped back and resurfaced. And there's so many things which I used to respond emotionally way different. I used to go to the lowest of the lows with these emotions. I used to get extremely defensive. I used to want to attack. I used to want to try to turn it back on them. I used to do all kinds of things. And I'm handling this situation immensely different this time. I feel immensely different about the situation. And I'm not carrying this massive weight and this emotional turmoil over the situation with this person. And to me, it's like, oh my gosh, look at the growth. I'm so proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for the way I'm handling it. I'm proud of myself for the way that I don't carry these negative emotions with me all day. I'm proud of myself that I don't ruminate all day long about what they said, what I could have said, what they're thinking about, what I need them to think about, or trying to control them or anything. Like, I'm not in my head all day long. So I know that I have really, really expanded my emotional capacity for things that I used to have almost very limited emotional capacity on. And this is what people don't understand about when we talk about vibrations, when we talk about what you put out is what you received. You have to understand that that's your emotions. Your emotions are energy in motion. That's literally what your emotions are. So when you say, I want to manifest $1 million, but your emotions go, oh, that's insane. That's nuts. There's no way. It doesn't matter what you say physically with your mouth. If your emotions in your body say $1 million is absolutely insane, there's absolutely no way you can do that. If it feels scary and yucky, it's not going to happen. Your emotions are the things that need to be mastered in order for you to manifest the thing that it is that you want. So when you say, I want to manifest something, the universe is going to give you an emotional situation and see how you respond. And if you cannot hold the emotions of this situation, then you cannot hold the thing that it is that you are trying to manifest. And if you did manifest it, you're likely to lose it quickly because you don't have the emotional capacity to hold the thing. So I've been given many, and test could be one word of saying it, but for me, it's just the universe is asking, okay, you want this? How much can you hold? Holding $1 million it requires a lot of emotional mastery, especially for people who have been made to feel like $1 million is this huge, massive thing. If you grew up rich and you have money available to you, and it's not this, you don't have a lot of yuckiness around money, then holding $1 million isn't that difficult, but you're going to have some other emotional mastery thing that you have to deal with. So, I know that, again, so I'm relying on the unknown. I'm trusting in the unknown. I'm not relying on my limited mindset that will have to give me I'm not going to try and create a plan because it's based on my limited mindset. I'm jumping into the unknown, the magic and the miracles. And every time I do it, I know I'm going to receive some sort of insight that I take action on. I'm going to be invited to some sort of meeting. I'm going to be introduced to some sort of person. Some things will come to me. I will attract and bring to me situations, people, things that I can initiate that will, help me bring in the $1 million. It's not to say that I do nothing. I do things. It's just that I do the things that come to me from the universe, from the unknown, rather than trying to think with my head, what must I do, or who must I meet, or what needs to happen in order for me to make this $1 million. And then I wait and I receive whatever the universe, gives me in terms of those things, but also the emotional mastery tests that the universe essentially gives you. So any situations that pop up where I've got to work on my emotions, again, like David and I have been going through this emotional journey recently, and it's been, checking, how much space can I hold? How many emotions can I hold? How much am I going to my emotional gym? Am I taking things personally? Am I defensive? Am I, shouting back all the things that are wrong with them? What am I doing with my emotions? Can I handle David something saying about me that he doesn't like, and me being able to say, okay, thank you for telling me how you're feeling. Thank you for letting me know what's going on with you. Or am I going to immediately respond, well, you don't do this and you don't do that, and how dare you, and I do everything for you. Like, that's a not emotionally mastered person. Emotionally mastered person can handle whatever it is their partner has to say and come from a space of love and trust and knowing that, thank you for sharing this with me. Now we can figure out what it is we need to do so that we both feel okay in this situation. Most people cannot handle their partner telling them something about that. Most people that I have met cannot handle their partner telling them something without being extremely defensive. I struggle with this myself. So I'm not sitting here and saying that I never get defensive. I just literally just did it right now with David, but I have the awareness of like what happened, why it's happening, and what can I do to manage the situation so that I am not immediately triggered with the defensive,ness, so that I can handle it better next time, so that I can approach the situation with love and trust rather than defense and anger and, whatever. So I know that when I declare I want to make $1 million in 1 month, it's going to come with an emotional gym. And am I ready to tackle that? Am I ready to jump into that? Am I ready to deal with it? And I have this mindset that I have really harnessed, that everything is working out for me all the time. So even when I go through this emotional gym, when something is difficult, when something is hard for me to deal with, I have this knowing that on the other side of whatever the situation is, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be better. I know that as I go through this emotional gym, as I say, yes, I can handle it. 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 I know that on the other side of that, it's just amazing magic and miracles. I've witnessed this throughout my whole journey of being able to build the business. So I know the last few Decembers to remember have just been like my working through my thoughts and stuff, but I really wanted to break down like, why am I doing what I'm doing, and how am I doing what I'm doing, and why, I'm not going to write a business plan and write up a proposal and try to figure out the house. I want the house to come to me from the universe. I want the universe to bring me inspiration. I want the universe to introduce me to people. I want the universe to let me know what inspired action I should be taking. And I do those things. And then I'm prepared for whatever the heck emotional gym I'm going to have to go through to say, yes, I have the capacity to hold the emotions of whatever it is I need to go through to be able to receive the thing that I am manifesting, with the trust in knowing that everything is going to work out for me, that everything that comes into my reality is to serve me, is to help me be, do, and have whatever it is that I want within my life. So, I'm gonna serve you with that. I think this was one of the most amazing conversations I've had through this December to remember, and I even want to re-listen to everything that I just said because I know that throughout this I just said some magic fucking shit. So I'm gonna let you all go. I love you so much. Again, the replay of this is always available on my Facebook page, but it could be easier to go to my YouTube channel to watch any of these replays. And I love you all so much. December to remember, manifesting $1 million in 1 month. What that looks like, how I'm going through it, how I'm feeling, what I'm doing, and I just want to demystify this manifestation process for you, and I want to make it normal that we all have large sums of money in our pocket, in our bank account, that we live a life that we love, that we live a life that we love waking up to every single day, and that's what I want for you, for me, for us. I love you all so much. Have an amazing day. Bye.